Well, I would like to bring a little bit broader aspect of the regulation and the regulation in our technology industry, so in our electrical and electronic industry, but not only in Europe in January. What we have seen, and that is really accelerated with the corona, we have seen an acceleration of the regulation process in Europe. It almost came, let's say, to a tsunami of new regulations. And it is both the reshaping of an older regulation or new ones which are linked to the digital, to the cybersecurity, but also to AI. So it's a very, very broad a portfolio of new, of old, redoing of old regulations and new regulations, which is really impacting our businesses, and it is impacting also the competitiveness of the companies. In many cases, forcing a technological transition, it can be a very positive thing. And sometimes industries, need that push to step out from the traditional business, traditional technology, to think and to, reinvent or innovate and bring new technologies on the table. So that's the good thing. But there is also another aspect where this is going too far or this regulation is going too fast so that companies do not have the time to adapt, and then it comes to disruptions, and very often those disruptions are negative for the competitiveness and also for the innovation capabilities. Another aspect of the regulation misunderstood, or when we overregulate and how that impacts the innovation in a company, is that you can spend an euro or a dollar only once. And if you spend it in innovation or if you spend it in administrating yourself in order to comply with the regulation, these are two very different things. One is positive if you put your dollar, your euro in the innovation. The other one is not really creating value. So there are so very many aspects of how a regulatory framework can foster or it can hinder the innovation in an industry, in a business. In the lighting industry, I can give you an example. The technological shift from the conventional lighting to LED was done because the LED was invented and because LED, it's a superior technology which is also enabling the connectivity. So it's all about innovation and a superior technology. And of course, the push with the latest regulation to take out the conventional lighting from the market is accelerating that. So it was, in my opinion, a positive example. But there are also, again, other examples where banning a certain technology before making sure that you have substituents, that is then, let's say, a less positive example of how regulation interfere in the competitiveness of the company. That's a super question because I don't think that boards spend a lot of time in understanding the regulation. I'm sure it's done on a very broad level of knowing what's going on, especially when it comes to regulation linked to compliance, when it comes to regulation linked to financial standards. Of course, that is well understood. But complex regulation like we have in Europe, which is impacting technology, that I think it's so detailed that it's less on the table of the board. So if you don't understand that, you have again a blind spot. So you might think that you can do in a certain way, and then actually you can't. But it's also like there, you have to understand that you have to acquire the knowledge if you don't have it through a board member who is more familiar with this complex regulation when it comes to the technology regulation. What's also interesting when we discuss how it impacts board and board decision, very often those decisions are not at the board level. Very often those decisions go really deeper in the organization. So I would not say that the board needs to be an expert in European regulation for a specific technology. It's very positive if you understand it in the sense that you understand that it's complex. I think it's enough to understand that it's complex and that there are not simple answers. That's enough. And then to prepare so that the lower in the management and in the where the decision is really taken, they have the resources, they have the means, and they have everything which is needed in order to execute those changes.